Hey everyone, and welcome to Let Me Ask You This. I am your host, Scott J. Carroll. Welcome to our little trivia show where every week we consult our tomes of knowledge and I ask the people that I call my friends some fun questions.
What's the J stand for?
That is a question we will never get to.
Lame.
So,
For $5, I'll tell you.
joining me this week on the show, we have Angel and Alexis,
Yay,
yet
team!
another A-team. Over here we have Claire and Alan, the
The B team, blonde and bald.
No.
Oh! That's an extra point out of the
I feel
gate.
like Scott hesitated at first, like, I don't know what to do with this.
I was thinking of something. I was thinking of something meaner
Oh,
than
like
that.
I woke up this morning and went, oh, what happened? I'm old for the love of God.
It was there a second ago.
Oh, no, it wasn't there 30 years ago. Trust me.
He had a Britney meltdown and just...
Yeah.
So, I have consulted the Tome of Knowledge this week, and I have pulled some fun questions for you guys. And this week we are going to be starting in the world of science.
Uh-oh.
Wasn't my best subject.
Well, we're going to start off in space.
I like space.
No,
Yeah.
space.
Space is
I
good.
like personal space the most.
If only we could drive there. That would make things so much easier, but we can't.
We could go straight up.
You know, if you drove 60 miles an hour in a straight line up, you would hit space.
I
But
believe
that's
you.
not the question. So on the shuttles and on all the international space stations, they have various different apparatuses for daily life things for astronauts.
ADLs.
So my first question
Yes.
for everybody here is, why did NASA have to change the labels of the sizes on the male urinating apparatuses on the shuttles and space stations?
Because the men were being insecure.
I
Insecurity.
say for all the obvious reasons. Let's just
How graphic-
alphabetically, chronologically. How do you want this?
How graphic are we allowed to be?
Not that one. But you are absolutely right. The apparatuses were labeled small, medium, and large. But NASA found that none of the astronauts were going for the correct sizes because nobody wanted to be small or medium. And in the vacuum of space where there's zero gravity, droplets of liquid can be a problem. So to combat this, they kept everything the exact same size. And what do you think they relabeled them all?
Extra large?
Adonis.
Adonis is a good one. That should be on this list.
I'm surprised it's not.
They relabeled them all large, gigantic, and humongous.
I mean,
So
playing
sad.
it safe, but okay.
So sad.
No offense, dear, but why are men allowed outside the house?
Have you seen what we do to the inside of the house?
Yeah, you
Why
don't want
have
you don't
Yeah,
want us in
I
there.
certainly have.
Yeah.
You don't want us in there. Let's get away from space. Let's
Now
talk.
that space is ooh.
Ew,
I
goodies.
thought it was going to be fun space.
No, now it's oh dear Lord.
Well, when you hear that somebody says space is gigantic, now you realize it's not as big as you thought.
Or humongous.
Ever expanding, though.
False
Oh.
advertising.
Oh.
All right.
So, in the world of science, who had a truly glowing smile?
One of those radium chicks?
I'll say the Radium Girls.
I'll say that the obvious answer is the Radium Time Company.
Yep, it was the Radium Girls.
Yes, where you can still go to
Bad
their
times.
graves today with a Geiger counter and find every one of them.
Yeah. So the Radium Girls, for people who may not know, radium was used on clocks and watches because it naturally glowed. It didn't need anything to phosphor. It just did it. And they hired a whole bunch of women to paint because they had very, very tiny dials and faces. So to get the really, really fine tip, they told them to take the brush and rub it on your lips or on your tongue to get a really fine point that they would then use to paint the numbers and the notches. What they would
Bad
also end up,
results.
well, what they'd also end up doing is they would paint their fingernails.
Yeah.
They'd paint
They'd
their
steal the radium.
They'd paint
so-
their teeth when they
Yeah.
would go head out for a night on the town because they didn't know. Yeah,
No, I
radium.
didn't.
Well, we'll get to that. Radium,
Somebody knew.
super radioactive.
Yeah.
Really bad.
Yeah, it kind of glows.
Every single one of the
Literally.
radium girls ended up getting cancer.
Yes.
Some of them, their jaws fell off. Some of them, their bones just crumbled. It turned out later on that the head of the radium company knew that it was radioactive and didn't do anything about it. The Radium Girls themselves actually had to fight to get posthumous recompense from it. But for a little bit, they did have
How can they fight posthumous?
their family.
Their families.
Their
You
family
didn't
fought.
say that. You
They,
said
they
they.
left people behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming like probably
You
young
said
children.
they fought posthumously. So they're dead.
It was
That's a different movie.
Zombie radio.
Zombies.
Listen,
Coming to a theater
Yeah.
near
Yeah.
you.
That'd
Yeah.
be
I
a
think
great
in the
movie, though.
60s we made a lot of those movies.
I mean, glowing, radium zombies.
It'd be really good, but the radium zombies are coming. Just wait.
Just wait. Okay.
Oh no.
Yeah. I apologize for that joke because that hurt saying it.
It should have.
Yeah. But speaking of radiation,
Mm.
what type of power plant actually produces the most radiation?
I would say probably coal, isn't it?
You are just on fire tonight. It is
yeah.
coal.
So's the coal.
Oh. Damn. It is coal. Why is it coal?
I wish I could remember.
Because that is the source of radon gas.
What
As
he
the
said.
coal-
Well,
as the
I
coal
know the general.
compresses.
I know the generalities. He knows the specifics.
Yes.
Well, he was there.
when the coal
dis-
formed.
He discovered coal.
Yes, I was laying the peat down. Yeah, you have to get the bog just right, and you keep pushing down.
Had to take all these bog bodies and butter out of there.
Yeah,
just doing
yeah.
what they were doing.
Get another layer down.
Yeah,
Nice
get
and
another
smooth.
nice and smooth there.
Kill some dinosaurs and let them.
Yeah, radioactivity comes and goes and flows, but yeah, there's a lot of radioactive coal
Yeah, so
and
coal.
gold.
Yeah. Coal itself, it naturally contains trace amounts of uranium and thorium, both of which, in a regular lump of coal, it's not going to do anything. But when you burn it on massive scales, you're releasing all of this out there.
You mean like London
Yeah.
for 100 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The Industrial Revolution was great for everybody, wasn't it?
Because,
Some of those teeth.
yeah.
And the children.
When you burn coal, you create something called fly ash. And that takes all these radioactive elements and just spreads them around everywhere.
Do you know what you make out of fly ash?
No, what do you make out of fly ash?
Cinder blocks.
Interesting.
Thus, they are named cinder blocks.
I actually always wondered why they were called that. So bonus points for Alan
Never made that
for
connection.
showing
I
off.
didn't either.
I was there.
Who do you think invented them?
Oh no, I didn't think of it. Just keep shoveling.
Did you give
It's
it a name,
yes.
though?
Well, it puts a whole new spin on Cinderella.
Well,
No wonder she went to the party. She glowed.
Oh,
Oh, but
That's why she was seeing the fairy godmother.
yeah.
that's why the glass slipper fell off because some of the toes just.
No, well, yeah. No, yeah.
This is
far
a
on
grisly
that one?
episode so far.
Okay, well let's lighten it up.
Like radium.
Lighten it up, he says.
I'm like, you know what? You
Wow.
just keep shoveling over there.
Wow.
Just keep shoveling. You're doing good.
So, thanks. You're doing good over there, Billy. You're doing so good. So we've all seen post-apocalyptic movies and books. What is the one snack that always seems to survive the fallout or far into the future or
People
Anything.
claim it's
With
Twinkies.
of course.
Twinkies? So my question is, what is the actual shelf life of a Twinkie?
7 days.
No,
No.
it is not 7 days.
Oh.
Is it at least a few months?
No.
It's not a few months. It is between 7 days and a few months.
It is a short lifespan. It is like 10 days.
It's-
Because they're
it's-
supposed to change out the displays every 7 days.
It's longer than any other snack food. It is the longest of the snack food shelf lives. But the shelf life of a Twinkie is 25 days.
No.
Oh, so almost a month then,
Almost.
roughly.
The reason for that is there is no dairy involved in a Twinkie.
No.
The idea that Twinkies would always last forever came from the 1970s when people started protesting them and saying that they were chemical cakes, that there was no actual food in them. But they just live longer because there's no dairy.
They're not-
Everything is chemicals. I am a chemical cake.
In so many ways. Wow. So many ways.
I'm not proud of that.
Do you want to rethink that one?
We can't. It's on film now.
That's true. How many Twinkies do you think Hostess makes every minute?
Every minute?
Every minute.
Too many.
No, thousands and thousands.
Well, just 1,000.
1,000?
They make 1,000 Twinkies every minute.
Well, that's now. That's the new factory.
Yeah.
Yeah. About 20 years ago, the old factory was about 10,000 a day.
It was running a hand crank back then.
No. They automated that bad boy. They were flinging some Twinkies. Because this is actually Twinkie version 2.
Yeah.
It is.
This is Twinkie 2.0.
It is. This is the new Twinkie.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going
I
to get.
like the old Twinkie.
We're not going to get Twinkie Classic.
No Twinkie Classic.
No Twinkie Cola Classic. But Twinkies does take us to the end of our first round, which again we flew through tonight. Good job, everyone. That does take us to our bluff round. Before the show, I gave everybody a card that had a question and the actual answer. I then asked them to write 2 additional fake answers to try to bluff the other team. So, Alan, why don't you go first?
Dun, dun. Alrighty. What shape can a flag not be?
Octagonal.
Well,
There's
your
multiple
options
choice.
are, I'm going to narrow it down for you.
You've been on
Because
the
there are
show
a lot
before,
of
right,
shapes,
Angel?
right? There's a lot of shapes.
You've done this once or twice.
It cannot be an octagonal is not actually one of the options. I would have died laughing if it was. You got a circle, a square, and a polygon. Which one can it not be?
A circle.
I'm going to say a circle.
Well, they just bullseyed in on that one, didn't they?
Yep,
Oh,
they did.
so you get a point.
Because you have triangular flags and those considered polygonals.
Yeah.
All right, well,
Trouble with size.
Angel, since you were right on that one, why don't you go ahead and read your question?
What?
Nothing?
Where was Hawaiian pizza invented?
Well, it wasn't Hawaii.
Hawaii, Ontario, or Chicago?
Well, we know it's going to be Ontario or Chicago. So which one is weirder, Chicago's or Canadians?
I'm going to say the Canadians.
Going with you.
I'm going to say Ontario.
Yep.
Yep. Chicago pizza was invented. Chicago pizza, Hawaiian pizza.
Fun fact: Chicago pizza was invented in Hawaii. Who knew?
Yeah, there you go. Exactly
Someone's
right.
coming after you.
I know. Claire, why don't you go ahead and read your...
That's upside down.
No,
You need our raiders.
How many bathrooms are in the White House? 25, 35, or 41?
Didn't realize we needed to know this, but
If you're going to visit, you might need to.
yeah, we're not allowed in at least a quarter of them.
Yes, but when you have a lot of documents to flush,
But they all still
What
go
are the
down to one
answers again?
clog.
25, 35, or 41?
I'll just go with 25. It's a nice number.
Sure, 25.
Incorrect.
It was 41, wasn't it?
There's 35 bathrooms.
a
In the
truly
White House.
bizarre number. Yeah.
And how much fiber do you need to eat in a day to use all of them in one sitting? I don't know.
I don't want to know.
Square footage wise, the White House is not that large to necessitate
Are they-
35 bathrooms.
Are they half
But it's
fast?
politics, and they're that full of, well,
Yeah, anyway.
Yep.
So, Alexis.
That comes to me.
Yes.
Okay.
save us from ourselves.
Too late.
She's one of us.
What was the first movie to show a toilet flushing? Was it Psycho, All Quiet on the Western Front, or The Third Man?
Oh, those are all 3 really good ones. But I think Psycho was definitely the first one with the shower.
Yeah.
The whole shower thing. Blood and the chocolate syrup going down the drain. All Quiet on the Western Front would be... I'm trying to
I wasn't
remember.
sure they had
They're
toilets on the
actually
Western Front.
thinking.
Yeah.
Right, they're not just going like, oh, I know what it is. Like, they're actually trying to...
Yeah.
Because I'm going to stop with Anthony Perkins.
Gosh, that's hard.
But those are 2 really good choices.
Because I'm also trying to think of when each one was made. Cause
Well, All Quiet on the Western Front,
That
but
was-
there were officers' quarter scenes. So I just don't remember.
And what was the other movie?
The Third Man.
Yeah, it's either Psycho, All Quiet on the Western Front, or The Third Man.
Because in terms of when the films were made, Third Man is, I think, in between Western Front and
So what do you guys think?
Psycho.
Well, the third man would be somebody flushing something down the toilet, and as the detectives were closing in. Split the difference.
Might as well. Let's see how it goes.
What are you going with?
Third man.
Third Man.
Psycho.
Nice.
Dang,
it was
Okay.
Psycho.
We overthought it.
We did. Should have gone with the first one.
I should have listened to you.
17 different arms in that murder scene.
Yes, there was. Now I am
Nobody
reaching.
could guess who it was.
I am reaching down into the
Just God knows
the
what you're
void
gonna come
down
up
there.
with.
zone of something down here.
Zone of discontent.
So the that takes us to the end of our bluff round and into the third round of our show. The third round of tonight's show is actually very special
Oh, no.
because this round was actually put together with the help of the North American Vexillological Association. So my question is,
I can be quite vexing.
Indeed.
what
Yes,
is
you can.
the North American Vexillological Association?
The study of annoyances organization.
Very,
I'm going, I know what the word vex means, but I unless it's a Canadian bad sci-fi show, I don't
I can give you guys a hint.
Or a cool band name.
Flags.
No, it's going to be colors.
No, it's flags.
Okay.
It is
Okay.
flag. This is actually
And
the
what shape's that
flag
be?
of the North American Vexillological Association.
so why is it not flagology or something?
That I can actually tell you that because a vexilla was I believe, Roman war flag that they carried in. So vexilla and then ology, study of the flags. So yeah, the North American Vexillological Association, they study flags, and it is the study of the history, symbolism, and usage of flags, or any interest in flags in general.
So tonight's episode is fun with flags, is what you're telling me.
A non-copyright infringing version of it, yeah. We're gonna
Red
go with
flags
that.
in particular.
But I
In
just,
so many ways.
I love the any interest in flags in general. So if you ever walk by and go, oh, that one's nice, you're in.
Oh,
Somebody
nice.
jumps out of the bushes and pins a little pin of the Vexillological Society on you.
Like, oh, you're done.
I actually have one of those. I have one of those pins.
You
in the
would.
woods.
Oh, yes, he does.
Well, they were kind enough to send me some. They sent me some pins.
I'm
So-
going to add that to my jacket.
They did. So they actually have a book. And the book itself is called, right here, it is called Good Flag, Bad Flag. And it is all about what makes a good or bad flag design.
Did Dr. Seuss write the title?
No, this was actually written by the Navis secretary, a guy named Ted Kay, who I actually have been in contact with him. He was the one who sent these facts over and all sort of information. He's a lovely gentleman, and we actually have he had some really interesting things. Now, the book here, Good Flag, Bad Flag, actually, Ted lists out what he calls the 5 basic principles of flag design. So I just wanted to see where everybody is on this. What do we think are in the 5 basic principles of flag design?
Color, symbolism,
Fabric.
shape.
Fabric? No, but fabric is taken into consideration later on. Color and symbolism are there. Shape was actually, that bluff question we had was also an extra question from Ted. He did say that flags can be any shape but round, just out of practicality.
Okay. Well, yeah.
But
See, now I want a round flag.
by all means,
No one can stop you.
no.
Nope.
But he does say that the 5 basic principles of flag design are, number 1 is my favorite, it's keep it simple. It should be so simple.
Nobody's followed that rule yet.
Oh, we'll get to that.
New Hampshire has entered the chat.
He says it should be so simple a child should be able to draw it from memory. After that, he says use meaningful symbolism. So don't just put a hamburger on a flag. Unless
Hamburgers
you
are
know.
meaningful for America.
Yeah,
Well,
they
It
are.
would be an honest flag.
Yeah, true. You mentioned colors. He says use 2 to 3 basic colors. Then he says, and this is where most flags fall apart, no lettering or seals.
So, like, half of the state flags are
Yup.
garbage.
Yeah.
Yup. He says it complicates the design and can drive up cost when going
Makes
with
sense.
it. And the last one is be either distinctive or related, which at first doesn't make sense. But
Be related to your state.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
You're
just-
the sunflower state, so you have a yellow flag. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
good with that.
yeah.
Why you're the sunflower state and you have a blue and purple checkerboard? It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, that would be a bad flag. Because he actually lists out, like, in each one, there's, like, examples of which ones are good and which ones are bad. And I'll let you guys take a look at this afterwards.
That would be quite vexing.
Yes. But the other thing that Ted did mention, and he mentioned this in the book here as well, is what should you never do when designing a flag?
Drink heavily.
Well, I mean, that's just kind of general good life advice.
Cry.
Put too much on it.
Well, I do also think that this is solid advice when you're trying to design or create anything. And he says you should never use a committee.
Oh.
How many of us have been there when there's been at work and there's a committee things like, we're doing this for the holiday, what should we do? And then everybody gets their 2 cents in. And then you get a really...
So is that the reason why?
We don't believe in democracy for flags. Flags for democracy, but not the other way around.
Well, isn't that why they have like a lot of contests? Like, hey, design a new city flag or something. They give it to the the schools or something, and that's kind of democratic in a way, I guess.
Well, that's how the current flag design we have was done. A lot of places actually they'll have contests for, hey, design a flag. And
Flag
people submit.
flag face is the what you're lined up with.
Now you'll get Flaggy McFlag
Yeah,
face,
you will.
which is really hard to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we are kind of on talking about bad flags, and this was the first question I asked Ted, and he gets this one a lot. I asked him, what is the worst flag in America? Where do we think is home to the worst flag in America?
There is a plethora of choice, so I'm not
Let's
sure
go
where
with
to start.
California.
California, you think?
I don't know.
Sure, why not?
Theirs is simple enough that it's not too obtrusive.
Well, this is
Harmony's
actually, it's a city flag. It's not a state
So
flag.
it's not a
Oh,
state
no.
flag.
So you lied.
No, I said, who do we think has the worst flag in America?
Well,
We didn't
cities, there's too many. I'm not guessing.
Who lets a city have a flag?
You didn't really
Anyone?
specify, so you kind of went, who? And we're like, oh, well, the 50 states each have a flag, so it's got to be one of those.
Well, I can actually
Show us the worst.
show you. So there's a flag in a city called Pocatello, Idaho, that was rated as the worst flag in America.
That's not a flag. That's a banner for a radio station that's on the fringes of what the signal can pick up.
That's like, the Microsoft competition that they just crushed or something.
This violates every single one of Ted's rules.
That's making my eyes hurt.
And I love the giant copyright at. I hope that's on the flag proper.
Yeah, there's a trademark and a copyright. There's multiple different fonts and lettering. There's various different colors and
Like
graphics.
seriously, those triangle things really make me want to sign up for AOL or something. It's like that's what that's reminding me of.
You've got flag.
Fun with fonts.
So this flag was actually so bad that there was a TED talk about it.
What did Ted do the talk?
No, Ted didn't do the talk. That would
Should've.
have been really good. But there was a TED talk about this particular flag, and the mayor of Pocatello watched the TED talk and he went, "Oh." So afterwards, he went to the press and he said, "Okay, we are opening up. Anyone can submit a new flag design." And the press went, "Okay, anyone in town?" And the mayor went, "No, anyone."
That's a dangerous proposition.
Yes, it is.
But to their credit, the Pocatello did change their flag, and this is the one they have now, and it is far and away 1,000,000 times better.
It's kept in
Christmas
marble.
tree.
Yeah. So Pocatello,
It's not nearly
Quite
as memorable,
lovely.
though.
well,
It is quite lovely though.
It's not
Yeah.
quite as iconic as.
what, do you want a T-shirt of the old one?
Kind of. Kind of.
All right, the old one was a T-shirt.
Yeah.
That was when you found at the mall.
I want it, on there with the graphics still in like 480 if you or whatever.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
nostalgic 90s if you want
Now
to.
that was fixed. Now that did make Pocatello. It was the worst flag in America.
Who's
Which
the
means
worst now?
who is the worst now?
Oh my God.
Alan, where did you grow up again?
Texas. Oh yeah.
Was it anywhere near Ranger, Texas?
No, I grew up in Houston.
Okay.
Actually, yes.
Because Ranger is currently the worst.
Yeah.
That's
there's
a
some, there's
Oh,
that's a web banner for like
that's a
City
web
Hall.
banner.
someone has that on their Facebook page, and it's embarrassing.
I absolutely love how they took just page out of an old book
Yep.
and just
They-
photoshopped the picture onto.
They have a few oil wells
This,
there.
this is the graphic design is my passion.
Have you been
meme.
to Ranger? Does
No.
does this make you think of?
Do you know who made that?
No, I do not know who made that. Yes, I have been to Ranger, Texas.
Now,
Is it a representative sample of it?
Yes, it warns
so it's
you.
apropos.
It warns you adequately.
It's a red flag.
You go.
oh,
You go there, and you're like, oh yeah, that's what I like.
Well, it's you know, I've also been places like Happy, Texas. It's not. So, you know, it's yeah.
now, all that being said, I did actually. I got curious, so I went back through this and I took Ted's advice, and I wanted to see if I could make a flag for our show.
Oh no.
So I took a
Help
swing
us.
and I made this.
Oh, it's cute.
Follows Ted's advice. Now, I actually sent a picture of this to Ted, and he responded with, "I love that, and I have a couple of tweaks." And I said, "Awesome." And then before I could respond again, I got another email from Ted, and he said, "Hey, someone from our graphics team took a swing at it, and they made my flag way, way better."
I like it.
Now, what's cool is this is now the official flag of Let Me Ask You This.
No committee needed.
No committee needed.
No committee needed.
He just made the executive decision.
Following Ted's designs.
He is the host. He gets to do that.
Yes. Yes, I do. So that does take us to the end of the show tonight.
So we get
That's it. We
t-shirts
can't
too,
stop
right?
that.
Yeah, if you want to make t-shirts, we can. Yes. That does take us to the end of the show. If you guys have any interest, there'll be a link so you can see the stuff with North American Vexillological Association. Again, a big, big thanks to them and Ted for helping out with this round of the show. So I hope everybody had fun tonight. I know we do have to pick winners. I do believe tonight's winners, Angel, you did come in really, really close. But the winners, once again, are Alan and Claire.
Sorry, Angel, I tried.
Look, because I was there is not cheating.
Yes, it is.
That's just using, primary sources.
That's just,
First person sources.
What could be more primary?
Yes.
I don't know.
But we hope you had fun tonight. We hope you guys enjoyed everything. I have been your host, Scott J. Carroll. I thank my panel and you as well. And let me ask you this.
We have a flag.
We're
And
official
we'll
now.
have shirts.
Yay.